Welcome back to the Barry Charles Footy Show. And yes, I'm from the heart of Penrith, right here, right now. Just kidding. But yes, the Penrith Panthers are looking at an unprecedented long time. 4 wins in a row, not since the mighty Dragons, such a lifetime ago, well before most of us were ever born. Yes, can the Panthers do 4 in a row? They have lost some big players, but they continue to add some very solid players, just like Craig Bellamy was doing before. But now Penrith are doing it better because they are the better team. So they get the better pick of the crop in terms of journeymen they would like to come to the club. So can the Panthers do it 4 years in a row, folks? We'll find out. But let's talk about it right here, right now. The season preview of the Penrith Penny Panthers in 2024. Well, welcome guys and gals to the channel. First of all, what a big loss they've had. Stephen Crichton. This is probably the biggest losses they've had. I know they've had some big players like Api Coruscant, William, Army Kickow, Matt Burton, and the ilk. But in one hit, Spencer Leniu, their number 3 prop, but absolute gun bench player. Stephen Crichton, their best centre. And then some very, very much cover-up players that are very crucial to your clubs when injuries occur. Jack Cogger, James Salmon's been big for them over the last few seasons, and Zach Hoskins. So some big, big losses, folks. Okay, absolutely not the spine, but definitely keys to the puzzle that could knock them off their pedestal. Which why I ranked them second equal in terms of strongest squads now. I think they probably had the strongest squad, well, with the Roosters last season, but I think now with those losses, and they've only added Paul Alamonte, Dane Laurie, and Brad Schneider. There's a lot of pressure on the Penny Panthers to perform. But anyway, let's have a look at the Penrith Panthers season review. Let's have a look at their squad. Yes, well, first of all, we know who's going to be the fullback. Dylan Edwards. Interesting selection headaches here, but I'm going to stick with Toho and Taruva as the wingers. If I'm going to give Paul Alamotti the start and Isaac Targo. But that is the weakness there. So do you put Taruva in there? You got likes of Tyrone Peachy and Dane Laurie. Do you put these fellas into the centres? It's going to be interesting. This is where I think they're getting weaker. They haven't got a gun centre. Now that they lost Burton and Crichton, their centres are pretty weak. And you also got Taylor May in the mix now. That's going to be a question mark. Does Taylor May come in? You put Taruva into the centre. That's all the questions that have got to be answered. That is their weak point. And also, their bench is not as strong as it has been in the past. They still got the depth. At least they've got depth, but not super depth. But yes, it's going to be interesting to see how the Penny Panthers go. Obviously, the halves, Jarome Luai, who was signed somewhere else for next season, the West Tigers. So he'll be looking to finish off with 4 premierships in a row. Nathan Cleary, clearly the best player on the comp. At NRL level for sure. He needs to do that at the top level. Moses Leota and James Fisher-Harris, the best prop combination in the land. Mitch Kenny has been an unsung hero of late and been very good. When they lost Uppy, he's just delivered. Scott Sorensen, Liam Martin, and Isaiah, you can't get much better than that, to be honest. That is up there with the best in the comp, so they got that covered. They've got pretty much the forward pack is the best in the comp, pretty much. They got the best halfback. They got the most consistent winger and fullback. They've got a lot of pieces of the puzzles. Centre is probably their Achilles heel in 2024. They've got enough people to choose from, but whether they can find the right ingredients to win the promised land is the question. The bench, well, I'm going to put Taylor May, as I can see him playing a lot of positions. Same with Dane Laurie, Lindsay Smith, and Matt Eisenhoof, but none of them scare me. You've got Sonny Luke, who can play Tyrone Peachy. Liam Henry, what they do with him, Maverick Guy, can he go to the next level? Brad Snyder can be in on the bench as well. So they've got a lot of utilities, but I'm just worried about their prop rotation. They haven't got that big oomph to come off the bench now. It's a lot of pressure on the Lindsay Smith or Matt Eisenhuth, so they've got to find some other young buck to come in there. Moses Leota and James Fisher-Harris have to play bigger minutes. Scott Sorensen potentially could go into prop when they go off. That's all the things they got to look at. How they work that one out, and obviously Paul Alamoti and Isaac Tago, if they are the centre pairing, or if Taruva goes in there, whether he can handle the defensive load. That is the big weakness. There's actually a weakness this season, folks, with the Panthers, and it could be how they drop off the ladder. But I think they will find a way to get it done. I still think they'll find a way to get it done, and they could turn into the assets of this team by the end of the season with the training under the tutelage of the Cleary factor. And also there's big talks about the younger Cleary being potential to come in later in the season as well, or the following seasons. He's a rare talent as well, they're saying, and he potentially will take over for Luai in 2025 is what I'm hearing. So they just continue to find new talent, and I'm sure they will find some other new prop that maybe we don't know about that could be potential, be the Spencer Leniu replacement that they have already on their books that we don't know about. So that's probably one. That's where I see the weaknesses here. I think they're missing the Spencer Leniu, Toffler, and the Crichton. Those are the two key players for me. I think they got enough in Brad Snyder, Dane Laurie, Tyrone Peachy to cover Jack Cogger. They might not necessarily be as good, but they certainly potentially can be as good. So I think they got that covered. Yes, so for you Penrith fans, not much to say here really. They are still definitely probably the team to beat, just with all the experience they've got on this team. And they've continued to cover injuries, and when there would have been Luai or Cleary, they continue to find ways to cover. With the likes of Brad Snyder and there, Dane Laurie, Tyrone Peachy, they got cover all over the board there, and Sonny Luke. I mean, they got it all covered. Yes, the Jarome Luai situation, could he go backwards this season? I don't think so. He'll be aiming for another premiership before he leaves. I think the Penrith Panthers are definitely potential of going for 4 in a row. Who can topple them off? I think there's only 2 teams that can topple them off this season. And that is the New Zealand Warriors and, for me, the Sydney Roosters. They are the 2 teams that could knock them off this season. I don't see any other squads, potentially Melbourne, but I don't see any other squads being strong enough. But if you look at players, if Nico Hines went berserk, there's a chance they can get it done. If Reece Walsh goes berserk, they could get it done with Ezra Mam, the Broncos. If Latrell Mitchell, Cody Walker, Jack Whiten all get it together, boom, now the Rabbitohs, Lachlan Elias finds some form, boom, they're a chance. There's always chances for every single club in the competition. But to me, the Penrith Panthers are still the top of the tree, but I think they might be about to lose a premiership. I think 4 in a row could be golden burgers, but they can clearly do it. They can, but I think it's going to be the hardest one if they're going to win another one. I think that their squad is not quite as strong. It's still very strong, but there might be some chinks in the armour. We will see. The centre, they've got to get the centres going. If they don't get that defensively right, the chink in the armour could be gone. But if they get that sorted, they're definitely up there with a chance to win 4 in a row. But thank you for joining me here at the Barry Charles Footy Show. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back ranking 17-1 for the teams where I see them ranked for 2024. Have an awesome day out there.